So it finishes 3-1 for Manchester City, means pretty much a point away at Fulham in the final game of the season will all but guarantee Champions League football for Manchester City next season. This due to their superior goal difference, as you can see on the table there. Let's welcome in Frank Leboeuf and Mark Ogden to talk more about this. Frank, first of all, a win for City, back to winning ways after a difficult day in the FA Cup final and a big send-off for Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, it's nice to see that the players have been professional enough to finish the job, and they needed to get the 3 points in order to get into the Champions League next season. So they were spot on. They did what they had to do, and I didn't find them quite sad after losing the cup. They know how important the 3 points were today, and they did the job. And for Kevin De Bruyne, what a nice tribute. I mean, it would have been absolutely nice. I screamed when I heard him almost scoring, and I saw the shoot that he made with his shin and not with his foot. And I was so disappointed because it would have been perfect to finish with the goal. But overall, good performance from the citizen. And I learned something from the citizen. They can shoot from distance. They don't have to turn around. They have shot to the world. Thank you, Marmoush, that they can shoot from distance and be entertaining. So well done, Marmoush. Well done, the citizens, and the good 3 points.
Mark, it was a good showing from City today and a massive step to confirming Champions League qualification for next year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're still not there, but you're right. I think it will take something surprising at Fulham at the weekend for them not to get in there. But the fact that they're in this position, having to go to the final game of the season to kind of wrap it up, shows you the sort of season they've had. But they're just kind of crawling over the line. I mean, you know, Bournemouth tonight was a difficult game, especially after losing the cup final at the weekend. I saw Pep's team and I was kind of surprised that he'd stuck with people like De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, who didn't play well at Wembley, with Phil Foden and Jack Grealish still on the bench. But Pep got it right. He got the result. They've got the win. And, yeah, they should get the job done at the weekend at Fulham.
And Rodri's back.
And that's a huge boost for Manchester City. Of course, all eyes on the Club World Cup and next season, more importantly for Manchester City now to get back to their usual ways. We all figured Manchester City would get the better of Bournemouth. We figured they'd get the better of Fulham in their last game of the season, but take nothing for granted. Top 5 was still up for grabs. So this is about as little as you could hope for or expect from Manchester City. In the end, they got the job done, and nobody questions that. But for me, and if there's one kind of negative around this is, again, you see the importance of Kevin De Bruyne to Manchester City. And while absolutely we celebrate who he has been for the citizens over the years, in all their successes, the question now becomes, how do you replace him? Even in today's game, and I know Marmoush's goal came in the 30th minute, but the only times that Bournemouth were turned around and running towards their own goal was because of Kevin De Bruyne. When he picked the ball up and he was able to thread a pass. Nobody else in the Blue of City had that effect, certainly not in today's showing. So while we celebrate Kevin De Bruyne and you think about what's to come next for Manchester City, filling that void is a big ask. Even with Rodri coming back, even if he rediscovers his old form, I don't think City look anything like the team that they once were if they don't find a puzzle piece to fit that Kevin De Bruyne size hole that will be missing.
That's obviously what's coming next for City. What's coming next for Kevin De Bruyne, though, Mark? What will be his next move?
Well, he was asked this question at the weekend, and he's a pretty straight guy, Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think he's kind of keeping anything under wraps. So the situation is he's had offers from all over the world, basically. MLS, Europe, Premier League. And what he said is that he wants to make the decision based on what is best for his wife and kids, because he's at that age now where the kids are settled in school. They've been in the northwest of England for 10 years, and you know the kids are grown up, so he wants to make a move that will be as disruptive or least disruption as possible for his kids. So that doesn't mean he's not going to move to the MLS or he's not going to move to Europe. That obviously could happen, but the move will be made based on what is best for his family, because he doesn't need to earn big money anymore. He's done that already. So wherever he goes, he's going to be well paid. So it's going to be a family decision before a football decision. So we'll wait and see. But he's not short of offers, but we're still waiting to find out what he's going to do. But there has been suggestions that he wants to stay in the Premier League. I'm not sure, whether he could do a full Premier League season. I think he's 34 next month. He's looked good for City in the last, month or two. But we have to remember that he's had a a disrupted couple of years. His goal output this year is way down what it used to be. And I think that he's played well in recent weeks in games that don't really have the same intensity that City would be expected to have at this stage of the season. He's not been playing Champions League semi-finals or games that are going to decide the title. So I think City have made the right call. But the question is whether he can do it for another club in the Premier League. But we'll wait and see. He might sit down in the summer and think, now it's time to have a quieter time, a quieter league, and head to MLS or even Saudi Arabia.
What do you think, Frank? Could he do another season in the Premier League? Less intensity with a different club?
Well, I think Mark explained it very well. We saw him throughout the season struggling and hardly being consistent. That's quite normal at this age. And the Premier League is so demanding that it's hard to keep on being at the level that he has been. And I doubt that he can have a full season. If he can find a club where he can play maybe, sometime being on the bench and come on, and sometimes play and get out, and that he finds a coach who understands what De Bruyne can offer to him, that can be possible. But otherwise, I have doubts. Maybe he can go to another football, maybe in Italy, maybe even in Spain. Because I don't talk about France because he won't find the money that he needs. But maybe in Italy or Spain, he can play for Naples, for example, and find a slower rhythm, I would say, in order for him to be consistent as he will need to be if he signs for a club because of the wage that he's going to get.
We are very much looking forward to an epic final day battle when it comes to those top 5 spots in the Premier League coming up this weekend. Manchester City taking a big step towards theirs there. But when you look at the rest of it, just 1 point separates Newcastle in 4th and Forest in 7th. And of course, we are seeing Forest play Chelsea on that final day. Newcastle will host Everton. Villa are at Manchester United. City, as mentioned, at Fulham. Not actually spoken to you for a little while on this, Mark Ogden. How do you see it playing out on this final day?
Well, I think we'll take it team by team. I think City will get the point they need at Fulham. I think Newcastle at home to Everton. I think that is a game that Newcastle will win. I think Newcastle will be okay. And then I think what it will depend upon is what Man United or Aston Villa are going to face. Are they going to face a Man United that's just won the Europa League and everyone's happy and it's euphoric and they play with a bit of freedom? Or is it a Man United that is in the depths of despair, the fans are going mad at the situation this season, and Villa rolled them over? So that, for me, would mean that Villa get in, because I think Chelsea and Forest, that could be a draw. I think both teams are going to be so desperate to get a result, they might actually both get a draw that knocks them both out of it. So I'm going to say that Chelsea and Forest might just miss out, because I think the games that the other teams have got will get them over the line.
Frank, anything changed in your mind since the last time I spoke to you?
Yesterday?
Feeling a bit more positive for Chelsea now and willing to actually say Chelsea and not just kind of half say it?
No. I'm really looking forward to watching those games because I'm fed up answering to your questions, about the 5 spot. but really, I'm with Mark about Man City and Newcastle. I think they're going to go and stay in 5 spots. And I really think that Aston Villa is going to get the 3 points, because I think whatever Manchester United does, win or lose, I think they're not going to be nowhere near it against Aston Villa. And I think it's going to be a draw. It's what I think against Nottingham, for Nottingham against Chelsea, sorry. So I think Chelsea is going to get out of the Champions League and only going to get in the Europa League. That's the way I see it. And that's the way it should be, I think, and we should see on Sunday.
Do I even bother to ask you again, Shaka?
I've me, Kay, I've been consistent. If I'm nothing, if not consistent. I've said Newcastle, City, Aston Villa for the last few weeks. I will admit, I kind of thought, given what you saw from Nottingham Forest after the Leicester game, that things were coming apart at the scenes, which has worked well for Chelsea, given the last game of the season. But I thought Forest's response against West Ham was exactly what they needed. And so I'll stick with my original prediction that Chelsea can only pick up a draw, or Chelsea Forest draw in the last day of the season, and Aston Villa sneak in.
Okay.